Today I have a very special guest, Greg from STL Woodworking, and we are here with the Woodworking Wheel of Misfortune. Greg, do you actually know what we're doing today?
Other than spinning this wheel, I have no clue.
Let's see what we land on. 10.
That is going to be photography.
Photography. Spin number 2. This one is going to be the style that we're creating our project. Coastal. All right, and then number 3, this is twist, and this is where things could get actually pretty bad. 2, no sandpaper. That's easy enough. All right, so we have our prompts. Let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to be making today.
Let's do it.
All right, Greg, so photography, coastal, and then no sandpaper. A second ago, you were saying that this is going to be easy. Why do you think that?
Well, we don't have to worry about the no sandpaper. We can get by with that one, so it really just leaves us these 2.
Yes, things could have been really bad over here, and maybe for next time they will, but thankfully we got off this time. We're about to go down a rabbit hole trying to figure out things for photographers, but then doing it in a coastal theme. Now, coastal, I'm imagining, is going to be a bit beachy.
That's what I think.
Beachy, maybe lake, but I guess lake there isn't really coastal. Lake will probably be more like nautical. So, photographer type of project with a beach theme. So let's go ahead and jump over to the computer, see if it generates a list that is going to be helpful for our photography stuff. So what are 20 woodworking projects that a photographer might purchase? Now that's going to take us down a little bit of a rabbit hole, and we're looking for simplicity on this one. We're not really trying to create something incredibly intricate. So let's see, a camera box? No. A photography prop box? I was thinking Apple boxes when I first saw this, and that would be pretty cool. Out of all those things, what do you think?
I think we need to stay away from the sign. I think that's a cop-out. That would be too easy.
Okay. Stay away from the sign. I like the idea of an Apple box, and I think that we can make it coastal themed, so we could still like engrave coastal stuff onto the Apple box. Let's try that out. We're gonna ask if there's any type of funny or memorable quotes that a photographer might use with their clients at the coast. Seize the day.
Okay. I actually like that.
I like that a lot too. Neither one of us have actually used MakerCase, but thankfully another instructor from CNC with me, Vernon Hinkle, just had an amazing video on this. So we're gonna watch through the video, we're gonna figure this whole thing out, and we're going to be able to make our Apple box.
So if you increase that to like 1.5 or whatever, it's gonna make less fingers.
Oh!
Yeah.
I'm being silly.
It definitely looks better than the other one.
Yeah. Let's bring it into Carveco. I have pulled in the SVGs, and then we're just going to center these on these boxes, and then we're going to assign our toolpaths, and we'll cut this thing out. So we took it over to the CNC machine. We put in our 60-degree groovy Jenny, which is one of the only 3 bits that you need to CNC with me. It did just perfect. We did set a depth on it of 0.25 inches just to make sure that we weren't weakening the material, but things carved out perfectly. After that, we switched over to the downtown Jenny, and then we did conventional cutting as we did all of our profiles, even removing the portions of the inside where your handle is going to be as well. Now, after that, we had put on a ton of double-sided tape on the bottom, and it gummed up things, which left us with this. Earlier, when we were looking around and seeing that we couldn't use any sandpaper, both of us agreed that that probably wasn't the worst thing in the world, but right now, that's more of an annoyance than anything else. I think we're going to be using our pocket knives and getting a blade on mine.
That's probably a good idea. You never know how much you miss sandpaper until you can't use it.
Who are you? How did you get to where you are? What do you know good?
I'm in the medical field. I've been in the medical field a really long time. Started this woodworking journey a few years ago and then dove off into this YouTube journey, which has been quite fun. Got the bug one day and decided I was gonna get me a CNC, and I did, and I loved it, and now I have 2.
What kind of CNC machines do you have?
So I run a 4x4 Carbide 3D Carveco Pro, 5 Pro.
How do you like the old 5 Pro?
It's not bad. It's actually a pretty good machine. I've been happy with it. Great customer service from them. I have the Avid CNC, which used to belong to Jay Bates. Yeah, fancy. Yeah, great guy. But yeah, I purchased that from him when he moved, and I've been happy with it, man. I like the Avid. It's a very large, robust machine. I have the 4x10. with the big spindle, 8.7 horsepower spindle. The Avid as it sits that I have, if you bought it retail today, would probably run you about $26,000.
Okay, so 4 to 5 times more expensive.
Yeah.
Do you feel like the Avid is 4 to 5 times better than the Shapeoko?
I don't know if I would say 4 to 5 times better. I think it's 4 to 5 times worth what you get out of it because of the abilities it has. In the end, they all still do the same thing. The Avid just does it a whole lot faster. The biggest learning curve was going from the Carbide's controller and everything to Mach 4 and having to learn a whole new controller.
So if somebody knew nothing about CNC machining and wanted to know how to get into it, I said, hey, what's the thing that I need to pay attention to most when getting into this? Should I pay attention to the machine? Pay attention to what controller I should get? Pay attention to the design software? Where would you tell somebody to start?
I would say probably leave out the controller part. That's probably not as important because whatever machine you buy is most likely going to have a controller that they either work with or suggest you use. So either way, you're going to have to learn that. Software, I think, is a big deal. And I started out, which most people do if the company offers their own software, I use it. So I used Carbide's software for a little while. It's a great software for a beginner, but as I started advancing a little bit, there's just some things that I needed to do that I wasn't able to do.
What kind of things?
3D, being able to bring in 3D. Now, some of this stuff, keep in mind, I've had mine for a while, so some of this stuff I know they currently do offer, and I'm not familiar with their current product. For me, I decided to go with Vectric, and tried to, I know you're looking at me. I can see it. So, in all fairness, I'm trying my best to learn Carveco. He's just so dang good at it. I tried to watch him a while ago putting that together, and I think I picked up 2 things. So
this was really easy to toolpath. If anybody out there actually wants to do it, I'll have a complete toolpath tutorial on CNC with me, but we'll also have the Carveco and Vectric files, so you can just cut this thing out with us. CNCwithme.com.
I am learning Carveco. I met the guys down at Workbench Con this year. Super great bunch of guys.
They're so great.
They were awesome. So I am truly trying to learn Carveco. With building my new shop and everything going on, I'm limited so much on what extra time I have to do anything.
So right now out there's a ton of different options for people as far as like getting into CNC machines, from purchasing something for $200 off of Amazon to spending $10,000. What would you direct somebody to actually spend their hard-earned money on?
That's a tough one because, I'd like to ask some questions first to get an idea, but just doing a cold answer, I would say whatever you can afford. If you can afford a $3,000 machine, get a $3,000 machine. If you can only afford a $600 machine, get a $600 machine, see how you like it, and then what I have noticed, people that I know that have bought smaller machines and or cheaper machines, I don't know the exact percentage, but I would say probably 50-60% of them wind up upgrading within the first year to 2 years. 3 main brands in my mind is CNCs. I'm not knocking anybody at all, but like your Carbide 3D machines, your Onefinity, and your CNC Labs machines. I think those are some really good entry-level larger machines, or could be larger machines that you could do well with for a long period of time.
Yeah, I think the longevity thing is the thing that I pay most attention to. First and foremost, if you're just getting in for a hobby and you just want to tinker around with stuff, there's so many really great options on Amazon just to be able to tinker around with stuff. For the people who ask me, like, what's the best one? There's so many great options out there. The best one's the one that you have and that you know how to use. Because I do, unfortunately, have a lot of people who get in touch and trying to figure out how to sell their machines because they just are super frustrated, and it's not like they've lost a love for woodworking or they don't want to do it, they just don't know how to do it. So they're kind of stuck dead in the water, and most of the time sell their machines. So if you are looking into getting into this, stick with your budget, for sure.
For sure.
Unless you know that you're currently making a product and you need to ramp up production, buy something well out of your means and you will be amazed at how much stuff you can produce immediately. But most people don't. Most people don't know what they're going to make. Most people don't understand how to sell things, and they think that buying a CNC machine is just going to immediately make them a millionaire, and it doesn't work like that.
I'm done. Are you?
At first we thought that no sanding was just stupid, but it's going to look pretty bad. So let's go ahead and put this together dry just to see how wiggly it is, and then we'll staple it all together.
Well, thanks, Vernon.
Seriously.
It's actually a pretty good program.
That's actually great. And the funny part is I meant to put these handles on the ends, and as we were doing things in Carveco, I just kind of like threw 2 handles in there. So now they're on the sides, and obviously it is not stapled together. But way tighter than I thought that it was going to be. I thought it was going to be very loose.
Actually, that's really good.
Yeah, that'll staple together nicely.
Filling the burger now.
I know. Honestly, I could lay down on the ground and go to sleep. But, did anybody notice in the last clip that my lights were different? If you noticed, kudos to you. Seize the day, ahoy matey. The massive mistake is that every time I try and grab it, like a normal person would grab an apple box, there's no handholds, just right here. So this one's special. The version that y'all are going to have is going to have the handholds on the correct end. Now I do want to say that this is Baltic birch, and if we had 1/2" MDF, this would be a much tighter fit, but it's something that we're probably going to use long term, or at least I know I will here in the studio. Yeah. I really wanted to be able to make it out of something that water is not going to affect it as much as it would MDF. Now, we did put our staples in, and as Greg told me later, I probably shouldn't have put them on the face. I didn't think about that. I was just assembling the darn thing, but he's right. If we would have snuck in all the staples on all of the sides, it would have made the face just look that much better. You think we should stain it or finish it?
No.
Oh, thank you.
No. That wasn't one of the things.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the things that we had to do. This is just going to be the way that it is.
It's good in its natural state.
So, Greg, where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, here, STL Woodworking. You can find me on Facebook, also STL Woodworking, and you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. I don't do much on TikTok. Also STL Woodworking.
I don't even have a TikTok. Do you have any new fun stuff in the works?
I do.
That's all we're willing to talk about that. Go ahead and follow Greg over on stlwoodworking.com. Is it STL Woodworks or Woodworking?
Woodworking.
So now you know, stlwoodworking.com.
It's actually STL Woodworking Shop for the address.
STL Woodworking Shop, and why is that?
So, because when I first did STL Woodworking, it stands for Spare Time Limited. STL Woodworking was taken by a company in St. Louis. They're not doing anything with it, and this is of course just me blabbering, but they're not doing anything with it, but they refused to sell it to me because I offered to buy it.
Of course.
So I had to do stl-woodworking.com, which I hate because it has a dash in it.
I've been telling people for months that it's shop time limited.
Oh no,
it's spare time limited.
Spare time limited. Well, I guess that's kind of one and the same.
I guess so.
But yeah, stlwoodworkingshop.com. I just like it because it doesn't have a dash in it.
Yeah, I get that. Well, you can find him there. You can also find him at STL Woodworking here on YouTube. He makes a ton of awesome videos. Go check him out and do subscribe to him if you have not already. He's a CNC with Me instructor, which means that a lot of the projects that he's coming out with on his channel are also available to CNC with Me members. Other than that, I will CNC y'all later. Next Friday, I guess.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Greg.
See you, bro.
Bye.